Good morning and welcome to TalkSports. It's the Saturday sports program. It's our weekend program where we speak with the movers and shakers of sports, the sportsmen, the sportswomen, the sports administrators, just about everyone who's involved in sports. Well, as indicated this weekend, we'll be looking at the planned celebrations of the Olympians, that's the Paris Olympians, it just ended, I should say. Yeah, Paris Olympics, and big celebrations planned for this weekend, starting today. And certainly it will be celebratory mood for Grenadians right after the carnival, okay? Because as you know, Grenada picked up 2 medals at the Paris Olympic Games, the 2 bronze medals. But it's also a time to celebrate for Caribbean athletes in particular. Not just Grenada, St. Lucia, there is Dominica, okay, and in some instances, I would say even St. Vincent can celebrate, because a 4th place at the Olympics, when you look at the challenges Maloney faced going into the Olympic Games, I would say she won a medal. Okay, yeah. Let me say good morning to my co-hosts in Toronto. That's Rudy and Sylvan. Rudian, pleasant good morning to you.
Pleasant good morning to you, Michael. I see you certainly say that you look good. After, I certainly a week of celebration to our culture, which is the carnival. You certainly look like a jab. I must say, so certainly welcome back to the land of which we live in.
Did you say like a jab?
Certainly, and surely, the week has been celebration. Grenada is about to, certainly get a piece of what the rest of the world has been going through in terms of celebration. We've seen it. I think so far, I am so happy to see how it is in Botswana. To see how the Botswanas really, taking the athlete, and you could certainly see when we are here talk about the importance of going to the Olympic Games, the importance for country more than just for self, right?
Yeah.
So surely you see that the country do come out for you, and that is what people really gravitate to. Is when you go to the Olympics is about country. And that's what it is, the flag representing your country, the pride you have for your country. And that certainly it's so such a good thing. And you've seen it all over Kenya and those places. Yeah,
it's certainly a proud moment for it's one of those period where countries and your nationals, the citizens, they come together, right? There is no partisan involved in the Olympics. When there's participation, whether you're red or you're white, you're black or you're brown, you're supporting your country, right? And you support your country wherever you live, eh? That's the thing about it, eh? You support your country, and in some instances you have people supporting, 2 countries, because of
definitely,
But it's just that something about the Olympics. That's why there are folks who it's an honor for them to be an Olympian, to represent their country at the Olympics, sometimes even more than probably a world championship, for example. If you look at track and field, it's an honor to be at the Olympics than probably even being at the World Athletics Championship. Whether it's swimming, whether it's boxing, whatever sport, being at the Olympics, it's certainly an honor. I'm not saying that the championship, the World Championship, that would be it's meaningless. It is. It has meaning, right? But being there is so much an honor. And I had that honor of covering the World Athletics Championships and covering Olympic Games. And speaking to the athletes themselves, you get that sort of feeling. They talk about, they more. It's so much an honor, even if they have not won a medal, right?
Certainly.
Just being a participant, just being able to
representing. It's certainly even we spoke about it a little bit last week. You look at what there were 8 athletes in the Caribbean who never competed. Um, um, top world class athletes who never competed. But just I think for them is being an Olympian, even though they has been already, but just being an Olympian itself is certainly was a big deal to them. Even if it's in a business standpoint or not, this is a big deal to them. Just to be there, just to be an Olympian than actually competing. Because they could have stayed home and let somebody else get it, but they just wanted to be, that Olympian and be a part of that. So certainly, you could see.
It's kind of well, I mean, what I am trying to get the correct phrase, because I know for a lot of folks, the athletics, track and field aspect of it, especially for the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
Is a go-to. So a lot of folks judge performances based on how many medals you would have won, especially track and field. So when you look at the Jamaica scenario, for example, there are a lot of folks who are saying it was a disappointing, for Jamaica in terms of the Olympic Games. Because you see, they look at the Jamaicans in terms of superior in track and field and rivaling the United States and others, right? Even though, the United States will go with, a large contingent, a very large contingent. In fact, the United States had the largest contingent, even at the host nation, right? More than the host nation.
Then they have almost 700 or six something. Yeah, almost 700.
They had the largest, right? Yeah. So I think sometimes we have this sort of, comparison where we compare those in the Caribbean and particularly Jamaica because of its superiority, in terms of track and field, especially in the Caribbean. And we make that comparison, and then there will be that, okay, Shellyan didn't compete to get a medal, Sharika didn't compete to get a medal, we didn't get a medal in the relays, this sort of thing. So so I could understand that.
But you see, because Michael, we know track and field. A lot of people watch track and field or watch certain things when the Olympics come around or World Championship come around. We watch it all year long. When there's a meet, we follow. We know the athletes. We know when they're injured. We know so many things about them because they're in our social. So, we follow them on social platform. For me, this Olympics was a success for the Caribbean. We have seen medals in countries that never thought, people never knew of those countries. Now they do. And even with Jamaica, even though on the track it wasn't what was expected, but on the field it was a success. So what it shows in Jamaica, it's not only on the track we have success now, we have it on the field too. And it boosts something within them now to say, well, it's time for us to start walking our shot putters. It's time to walk on our discuses. Then it's time for us to get a javelin thrower, and a hammer thrower. So those things now, because of those 2 medals that they received, that is historical for them. Now it become something as it is time for us to start building in that field. So yes, it was a success. Most people want to see those famous names, but it was a success because of the other athletes that they never thought about that actually coming in and make a difference.
Yeah. And getting back to the issue, it might be a bit, some people may not, agree. Some people may disagree. Yeah. Some people may agree with what I'm saying here now. But I'm of the view that it's wrong and totally wrong to create the promotion or celebration of our Olympians around just 3 athletes. As far as I know, we had 6 representatives at the Olympic Games.
At the Olympic Games, yes.
And it should be all 6 who represented Grenada, right?
Yes, it should be.
And I see everyone getting hyped up in just the Kirani, the Anderson, and the Lyndon. But folks, we had, in addition to that, we have Hali Azad, and we had the swimmers themselves, the two swimmers, who also, Zakari and Tilly, right, who
And
also represented Grenada.
yes, and
And I'm
Michael,
talking
and
about,
this is something that I will say, and that come back to the 51 Olympians of Grenada is excluding the three athletes who is medalists, who and and maybe Hazelon Wages because of the name. I'm just saying that. I'm not, pointing to anything. Um, the rest of the Olympians is unknown to Grenadians.
yeah, no, no, but I understand, but they celebrating the moment. The moment was the Paris
Yeah,
Olympic Games, right? So that rest aside, the others who would have participated, and I think they had something with the independence, whatever it is. But I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah,
that the moment of the Paris Olympic Games, and I my take. In fact, someone asked me that, and I said, "Hey, listen. As far as I'm concerned, we still have participation at the Olympic Games because we have the Paralympians, right?
yes.
And what happens if, for some reason, one of our Paralympians go and they struck gold? What happens? So that's why some nations do a celebration after,
After
and
the
when I say
Paralympics. Yeah.
after the Olympic Games basically they conclude with the Paralympics, right? That's why some nations do that. They will invite the entire delegation to the president's house or whatever, these sort of things like that. So because they're still representing the nation, right? And I think sometimes we get sidetracked, and we get caught up in the moment, and everybody want to be in it and things like that. So, and I could understand, yes, but what happens if for some reason these Paralympians, for some reason, struggle or medal? And I think sometimes, and I mean, I make no apology. I have I have very good support for track and field, right? And I have been around track and field for more than probably 3, 4 decades, right? But I still believe that we sometimes miss the opportunity, the real opportunity, which is if we're celebrating our participation at the Olympic Games, it should include, and include means even with the promotions, the flyers, whatever it is, all our Olympians who represented us at Paris, right? The 4 athletes, track and field athletes, and the 2 swimmers, they all represented Grenada, albeit 2 of the 4 won medals, right? But it must not just be 3, right? And then the rest is just by the way. No, it's not fair. That's my take about it. And if I can go further, I will also say that I believe that there's nothing we're losing out on if we wait for our Paralympians. That's just my take. But so be it. I'm supportive of whatever it is they want to do to recognize our Olympians, not just 3. Because as far as I'm concerned, all 6 represented Grenada and they gave it their all. William?
No, I certainly agree with you on that, and that's again. Like I said, I was going back to I just identified as a small nation as we are, and that's why there is something put in place where you know every Olympian proud of Hazeland and what she's doing that is being recognized and not forget because we all represent Grenada and certainly if in that situation, I think it should happen to be that everyone should be a part of it. When I watch other countries, going back to using Botswana, all of the Olympians was a part of the motorcade. Um, they all probably didn't receive everything, but they all was a part of it. Same thing in Kenya, they all was a part of it. They all probably didn't get medals, but they all was a part of it. And I mean, you have seen it too in the Olympic Games when I seen it with the Kenyan when an athlete come fourth, they also get the flag and running around with it. They didn't get a medal, but they joined the padre. They joined the padre who probably get the gold or the silver or the bronze, and they're running around because they are still proud of the country. You know, so that's certainly something that it should be. If you're going to do a celebration, it should be all or none. Should be everyone. They're all Olympians, and they all should be. I mean, I understand, they're celebrating now, without the Paralympians, because due to, the timing and based on their schedule, them guys maybe still competing because there's still another 3 Diamond League event to go still. So I don't know on that part, but they should be all the athletes, all 6 of them should be a part of that motorcade and not the 3 as
no,
but we don't know. But I'm just saying.
I'm certain all 6.
Yeah.
I'm certain, or they have made arrangements, albeit probably flight and or some other engagement or whatever. But what I have seen in terms of the promotion, right? In terms of the initial promotion, it was just about 3.
And again, and I come back again. I have just to as separate myself a little bit from understanding. Only 2 get medals, but yet they're promoting 3. I'm not, again, please. Kirani is Kirani. His name says it all. There's nothing about it. But in this game, there's only 2 get medals, and they only promoting 3. So certainly there is, something should be all. Oh,
yeah. And that's why I'm saying it should be. It's better if you have all 6 of them and promote all 6 of them than you just do 3. And especially where only 2, you promoted 3 and 2 of the 3 won medals. So I don't understand the logic in it. But by the way, I think the celebration should be of significance as well. Why? And that's why I was hoping that there could have been a little more time in terms of the planning and all of that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why.
I think I know where you're going.
But not only, and I'll develop it well. I'll say something first and then develop it. Right after both Kirani and Lyndon and Anderson, they are heading off to the Diamond League. In fact, the Diamond League, the next one is on the 22nd.
22nd,
right? Yeah, the 22nd. So, and I know they both are on the Diamond League circuit, and it's confirmed that they will be participating. So if they come today, they rush off and things like that. So okay. The other thing is that this Paris Olympic Games most definitely may have been Kirani's last Olympic Games. Another 4 years in Los Angeles, Kirani will be probably close to 40. He'll be in his late 30s, as a matter of fact, right? And a lot of things can happen. I mean, by the way, there are folks who saying after they see what Kirani did in the final, right?
He looks like he can go for more years.
It looks as if he could go, but the
4 years is a long time.
Yes,
it's not easy.
And a lot of things happen there. Look at what happened between 2016 and 2020 and 2020 to now, right? Albeit the top 5, and that to me was also a record. The top 5 finishers was sub 44. They run 43 points, right? But I am certain that by 2028, that 43 low may be broken. I mean, these guys are running incredible, times, right? And the younger folks like the Quincy and all of those guys that are coming in, the 16, the 17, 18-year-olds, getting them few in and between, because Kirani was very young when he was, and things like that. So, but it's becoming faster and faster, right? And more competitive. So I could understand, and I am saying that such a celebration, especially with Kirani, should have significance, because it may well be his last time that we celebrating something as Olympics with Kirani. He may be around for our World Championships or for our Commonwealth Games, but I'm not so certain for an
4
Olympic
years.
Games in 4 years' time. So I could understand that. So that's why I'm saying, in terms of the planning and all these things, because my thing is that, hey, we should be giving Kirani a grand send-off, right? A grand send-off. Kirani has represented Grenada. I mean, I don't know of any other sportsman or sportswoman that would have made that impact as Kirani has done. So just having a motorcade and, you know, that to me is not enough. And in addition to that, Kirani, and it was a suggestion that was made, a proposal that was made, should not just be what they call an ambassador. He should be a special envoy. You know, when we do have special activities, trade fair, all these, Kirani should be the face of that. There is no other. Let me tell you something, Rudian, and for those listening, for someone who have traveled extensively with Kirani James over the last decade. And I'm telling you that because whether it was Diamond League, whether it was World Championship, whether it was Commonwealth Games, whether it was Olympic Games, happened in 2012, and with including his late coach Harvey Glantz. I mean, I'm in a position that I can write a book on Kirani James in terms of information, video, photos, all these other, if I have to go into that. And some of them that have not even been published, training behind the scenes, photos behind the scenes, all of that. But and I'm saying that when you go there and you mention the date Kirani James, there is no asking about where he's from, or, you know, and I'm talking about my experience. So for example, there was a time I was at some airport, and I travel extensively within the US, you know, based on my job and things like that. So, and you know, I get in touch with, I met a fellow immigration officer who I was chatting with, and you know, we were talking about sports, and then I mentioned Kirani James, and he could have told me, oh yeah, you know, and he's a wonder, man, you know. And I was like, you know, holy cow, you know what I mean? These guys are following our sportsmen and sportswomen. But the name Kirani James, that's what I'm saying. The moment time I mentioned Grenada, he was able to pick up on Kirani James. And I'm speaking about someone who I'm not even certain, you know, is a diehard sports fan, but just probably a normal sports Joe who probably will know a little baseball and basketball, you know, top people in the various sporting disciplines, whether it's basketball, baseball, so too in track and field. And that's what I'm trying to draw that reference there. That Kirani has paid his dues. And it's time now for Grenada to give Kirani what is due to him for his representation, right? And while it may not be monetary, because I don't think, you know, we can pay Kirani in terms of money, you know, for what he has done. But I am saying something that can provide that additional coverage for Grenada as probably some special ambassador, some special envoy, you know, something to that effect. In addition to that, I think Kirani is in a pole position to be a very excellent coach. Once he gets into the rituals of coaching, why? Because of his mentorship with Harvey Glantz, the late Harvey Glantz, and also his disposition. You know, he's cool-mannered. You know, there's so many things being around Kirani that you can observe, and this is what is probably needed to even mentor our young athletes as well. So he may not be a direct coach as a technical person, but someone who can mentor our young sportsmen and sportswomen. There's so many things that we can pull Kirani into, right? And I'm mentioning Kirani because he, more than anyone else, probably is on that pedestal in terms of probably not being around for another Olympic Games or something to that effect. So, there's so many things, and that's why I'm saying that there should have been a moment where they could have sit down and plan and consult and come up with something that is more comprehensive. But I can understand at the moment, we want to celebrate, and probably like you, Rudian, I'll give them all the support. But hopefully,
No, most definitely.
there'll be
But
something.
but even on top of that, even adding on to that, Kirani is the most decorated 400-meter runner in the world.
Yeah.
He's the only athlete in the world who ever win every major championship in the 400 meters. No other athlete have ever done it. Even the world record holder, even the previous world record holder, even Usain Bolt, never.
Yeah.
Not even Usain Bolt have that recognition of what Kirani has. He won every major world title in the 400 meters, starting from the Caribbean Games, starting from Intercal, if we want to go that far, all the way up to the Olympic Games. Every single one. Caribbean Games, World Juniors, Paralympic Games, every single thing he have won.
Well,
Commonwealth Games, and so
when Kirani started, even at the Caribbean Games, he started as a
200 meter,
200 and 400 meter runner, which he captured. Even at one of the World Championships, he went in there. I think he won a silver medal. And
then you come back again. Look at we talk about Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt was a 200, 400 meter runner. That's what Usain Bolt was too. And then he dropped the 400. And then he become a 100-meter sprinter. And then so it just that level alone should say something. And we are still in the era of the 50th of our independence, and I think it would have been something more discipline as a sender for him in this time that we're in, and what we have achieved within that 50 years to say thank you to him. I think something more significant would have been better. However, we do understand every country is have their parade, have their stuff for their athletes, and totally understand. And we're hoping by the end of the year they may do something for him. They may do something for him in the next year. We don't know. So hopefully,
the announcement says that, or the release says that the Prime Minister will make some major announcements, right? And I know there have been talk about the incentive package, which I understood was actually approved a while now through cabinet. So even before the Olympic Games, there was an incentive package that was approved for our Olympians and others in going forward, right? Albeit, I would like to hear what it is, that they are proposing. The other thing is that since last year, and I think we're in a pole position for that, especially with the Prime Minister being the chair of CARICOM, there was a proposal to the Grenada government for the hosting or staging of a major Caribbean conference, sports conference, right? That not just deals with cricket, because we have had cricket conference and all these other things, but bringing all these regional sporting associations together to look at some of the challenges they face and how they can ensure that we maximize on the true potential of sports, especially for the Caribbean region, right? So whether it's cricket, whether it's track and field, whether it's getting the opportunity to revive boxing and basketball and netball, bringing all of them together. Obviously, some will have a bigger stake, like the cricket and the track and field and the football, than probably a basketball or so. But at the same time, it may be an opportunity to revive these other sports in this discipline. And the idea is to ensure that in future major international championships like the Olympic Games, the Commonwealth Games, the Pan American Games, that we can have more representation in various sporting disciplines. Because as it is now, it's just mainly track and field and probably swimming, right? If there is no swimming, it's just track and field. Some countries only track and field. right? But as our good friend Mr. Keith Joseph said on our program some time ago, it is an opportunity for Caribbean countries to diversify in their representation, in sports, and especially with cricket and possibly netball and all these. Well, netball is already at the Commonwealth Games, right? But with cricket at the Los Angeles 2028,
Yep.
right, Olympics, there is the opportunity for other sporting disciplines and for representation. All because most times these Caribbean countries just believe that we stand a chance in track and field, and that's it. So, but there is tennis, and apart from swimming, there's beach volleyball, there is basketball, 3-on-3 basketball. I mean, there's handball. I mean, and I looked at so much handball. I could play handball now. I mean, things like water polo.
And Michael, I had a conversation last night with a former government personnel in Grenada, and we talk about something that I mentioned in here. It certainly would be nice to see, it is the OACS only, but just the Caribbean pick up an Olympic discipline. Exclude the swimming and track and field. Pick up another Olympic discipline. There is softball, there is baseball, there is so many other things. And if it have to start in the high school or in the elementary school, at least in the high school, you give it 4 years, because you have 4 years. You introduce it to the country, and if within the 4 years, if it don't work, then it don't work. But at least you try something else. There is archery. All we need is that. You understand? Now we have the rugby. It's time, if we have to build onto something, then it's time for us to start putting it together. You understand? I mean, it is certainly time for us to show that. I don't remember any Caribbean country playing any football in the Olympics. And I personally don't remember. I don't know if Jamaica women ever did, but I cannot remember any of the countries ever. Jamaican women, right? Yeah, but I don't remember any men or anybody else going. Yeah, Haiti women as well. Yeah. You understand? And that is a sport that is known as one of our biggest sports.
But not only that, listen, something like shooting, for example.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, get the police officers to, I'm certain we have some marksmen. So whatever qualifying tournament you have, let them participate in it, and I'm certain they may stand a chance of being at the Olympics. Get some
so funny, my record. Somebody, it's funny, somebody make a funny joke for Trinidad. Say Trinidad has so many gunmen, you can't get few of them to go there and do some shooting. But it's certainly true, and we have to be able to, once we can get that, it's hard to get the horse racing and those type of things. It could be hard, because there's a bigger price, in there. But there are so many coaches around archery, and like in high school, in gym class, they are teaching us archery in high school. When I was in high school here, so certainly, it surely would love to see us put something in place and see the Caribbean and more than just the everyday sport that we have seen, which is the track and field, the swimming. Maybe we see a boxing here and there, but certainly that's it. It is certainly time for us to do that. We come too far in this Olympic Games. The Olympic Game is going on for over 100 years, and it's time for us to come up and yes, we are seen as small islands, small countries, but guess what we just did? Look at what the Caribbean just did on the world stage. Look at the OACS. I'm excluding anything, just the OACS on a whole. Look at what the OACS did in the Olympic Games, and people start really knowing. People knew of Grenada, yes, because of Kirani. Now they really know of Grenada, because it's not just only Kirani only. There's other sport that we're expanding in. We hear about the Dominica, St. Lucia. We're seeing those things happening now. So certainly it would be, good to see.
Yeah, well, as Kenny is saying that we do have a gun and rifle association that is affiliated to the Grenadian Olympic Committee, and
Okay, it's
probably
good.
that's something. But my thing is that things like listen, and I could understand.
Badminton,
Yeah,
ping
I could
pong, like all
understand.
those things in them. Yeah.
I could understand the not being represented, but I'm saying there's qualifying tournaments, whether it's table tennis, whether it's badminton, all these things, and they're played locally. And by the way, you have the Caribbean and Central American Games, you have the Pan American Games, you have the Commonwealth Games. All these things are precursor to the Olympic
The
Games,
Olympics, and they
and
have
they
a lot of good stuff.
also
Yeah,
and they also are qualifiers.
qualifiers.
They
Yes,
use as
yes,
qualifiers for the Olympic
qualifiers. Yeah,
Games. So
yeah,
it's all. So that's what I'm saying. We need to be talking together, and the hope
yeah.
is that, and I think it was confirmed from an official from the Grenada Olympic Committee that there is a possibility. Not there is a possibility, but the hope is that the coming together of all the national federations, the affiliates of the Grenada Olympic Committee, and sitting down, having a post-Paris Olympics discussion and looking at reviewing the participation and looking forward to the next Olympic cycle and how we can ensure that we do have additional representation, right?
Yeah.
At the Olympic Games,
At the Olympic
right?
Games.
And I think that should be the way forward. In addition to that, there is also that, as I mentioned, that pitch that was made to the Grenada government regarding the hosting or staging of this Caribbean conference, bringing all these regional federations together,
yeah.
whether it's with Cricket West Indies, CFU, the NACAC, all of them, bringing them together to talk about sport, because there's so many challenges that they face in the region in terms of hosting and sporting events, etc. One of it has to do, as Mr. Mike Sands says, who is the one who made that pitch since last October, had to do with transportation, for example. The issue with transportation, right?
Transportation, traveling.
Airfare, yeah, traveling,
Airfare.
and
Yep.
yeah, that is that that is that is
Something that we
terrible.
really need to.
Yeah.
That should be a
Right.
topic that should be on top of.
So
List.
you're bringing all the stakeholders together to talk about it. So you're even bringing the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, the airlines people, all of these. So and I think we are in a position, especially with the Prime Minister's chairmanship of CARICOM, probably something you can look at. Hopefully. That's just my take on that, and hoping that we can do that. There's also, as we mentioned, the Paralympics that's starting in the next few days, and we do have 2 representatives who will be participating at the Paralympic Games, and we want to wish them certainly all the best. There's all reason why we should continue to support our sportsmen and women, right? I realized when Kirani finished, competed, all the big celebrations concluded, and we had Anderson Peters, who eventually won bronze, who was competing. And basically, you have to say, well, as some people say, where is the watch party for Anderson Peters? These are the sort of things I think we need to correct, because even at the level of ministers and things like that, they had watch parties and all sort of things, just for one athlete. And I think, it should be possible. There's also the World Under 20 Athletics Championships coming up, right, folks? And Grenada, as a matter of fact, we have been asking for it for a while now, and I think we got it. They actually will have a relay team at that championship, which is in Lima, Peru, and it's coming up later this month, right? Albeit all boys. Let me get do I have it here with me? Lima, Peru. Right. So I don't have it here, but I will be able to find it. The relay team will be there. So we have Emilio Bishop. Let me call the 4x1 relay team first. We have one person participating in the 400 meters, by the way. Justin Sylvester. He'll be competing in the 400 meters, right? And then we have the 4x1 team, Emilio Bishop, Samuel Green, Tygon Peterkin, Ethan Sam, and Shakib Toussaint. They will make up the 4x100 meter relay team. And then we have a 4x4 team, Devonnie Ferguson, Kimron Mathlin, Tygon Peterkin is also on that team. Juanel Pierre is on the team. Ethan Sam is also listed on the team. Josh Sylvester is also listed on that 4x400 meters team. So Grenada will be represented at the World Under 20 Championships in Lima, Peru, with Justin Sylvester participating in the 400 meters flat. And then we have a 4x100 meter team and a 4x400 meter team, all male, right? But yeah, that's what I saw. I looked at the entries for Grenada, and that's what I saw. I hope I'm correct. I'm hoping that I'm correct in terms of the all males team, right?
Yep.
So that's something we should look forward to within the next few days. The World Athletics Championship, which will kick off in Lima, Peru. And these are the youngsters who we're looking at that possibly could be the main flag bearers for Grenada in the next few years, right? They may be the ones who most likely will be carrying the flags for Grenada. And so it's from the 27th to the 31st of August. The 27th to the 31st of August, the World Athletics Under 20 Championships in Lima, Peru. Right? Let me just double check in terms of that. In terms of the, I told you it was just yes, it seems as if just the male. I'm not seeing any females listed. I guess I'm under Grenada, after Germany, Greece, Guatemala, Guyana. Yes. So that's what we have for our country, and we want to wish our athletes all the best as they represent Grenada at the championships. Oh, did I? I hope I saw the right thing. Well, yeah, I took it by terms of country, but entries by country. Yeah, that's what I saw. Okay, so what else that we'll be looking at coming up? But we do have cricket going on, by the way, folks. I know that Olympics kind of sidestep everything else. West Indies actually played South Africa in the second test, right? In Guyana, right? And all of that was the first one was going to while the Olympic Games
was going on.
Going on, and certainly there wouldn't be. Yeah, I'm certain that they would have been lost in everything, because the fixation of Caribbean sports people at that time was certainly on Olympic Games, and not just the Olympic Games, but particularly the track and field segment. Yeah. Right,
Michael, do you have how the cricket for the Olympic Games will be selected? You have an idea of how?
Well, I've been hearing, certain discussions about that, right? But not too clear as to exactly how they will be. You're hearing it from different segments, but I think the ICC will at some point give directives in terms of that, as to how exactly that will be. Because certainly there wouldn't be a West Indies team. Right?
No,
they would not. Yeah. No, there wouldn't be a West Indies team.
Yeah.
So how it will be run, I don't know, and that's why
I don't even think it will be an age thing either.
No.
I don't think it would be, because you look at the NBA, It's not an age thing. World class athletes is playing, so it's just how it is. Where Grenada qualified, Grenada may have to play India, which is the the World Cup champion, and we can beat India. So certainly,
Yeah,
it's the Olympic Games. Anything can happen, right?
but that's providing that, because listen, we have so many cricket playing nations. Everyone will probably want to.
Everyone wants to be certainly.
And I'm certain. So there must be a sort of qualifying or
Qualifying something
or something like that. So I'm just looking at the Caribbean setting. Barbados for itself will believe that they can stand a chance to go alone and play cricket.
Jamaica too.
Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad, Tobago. Everybody believe that. And then when you look at you have Australia, you have India, you have the cricket playing nation. So there must be some
South Africa,
there must be a way of deciding how do you have that. The USA, for example, will believe that, hey, why not? Canada, all those who played in the World Cup,
But then here's the thing: would there be USA, Canada, the Caribbean? Would they be part of the NACAC qualifying, just like FIFA?
No, that's what I'm saying. ICC will determine how that will
determine how it is.
Chenny is saying, gents, on a serious note, I'm concerned that all except our senior women's team in 2022 have not been doing well. It's something many have been silent about. And I assume Chenny is speaking about football. Except our senior women's team, I believe that's football. Have not been doing well. It's something many have.
But is the cricket only men or women for the cricket for the Olympics?
Well, that's what I'm not certain about. I can't. I think they just agree that LA28 cricket and then the ICC that the top nation. So Shenny is saying it's football he's speaking about, right?
Football,
so that's football. Yes, Shenny. So Shenny's concern is that except for the women's football team in 2022, that we have not been doing well in terms of team events, right? And I think he's judging even the men's football team, the recent performance, etc., and things like that. So, and that's why I'm saying we may need to recalibrate. Recalibrate. Yes, here is a moment for celebration this weekend, and we have reasons to celebrate. But at the same time, there are the concerns, right? Because yes, we celebrate the achievements of our Olympians and particularly our medalists, right? And the others who participated. But at the same time, there are concerns about our overall performance and performances in some of the team events, for example. And in this case, Chenny is looking at football, right? We have not been doing well. And therefore, it's also an opportune time for us to recalibrate. Use the successes of our Olympians and use the moment of celebration for that recalibration. Whether it's basketball, for example. I recall a few months ago, there have been big talk going around. And when there was for the election, and I was being accused of supporting a slate, and this sort of thing. Blah, 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 and also. And those guys end up going and with all the big plans and things like that. Listen, after they won, we have not heard from them since then. And you see, and that's what happened. All the big talk, the big grandeur talk about this and what you plan to do and blah, 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 and things like that. And then you're going back to the same old thing. And I'm saying that to say that sport like basketball and others, I mean, when you look at Grenada and its ranking among the Windwards and the OECS, Grenada was tops.
Yeah.
No, there isn't even a junior basketball competition or team or whatever. I mean, guys are basically playing basketball as for
recreation.
And as a sweat, as you say, as a sweat. No active competition, nothing. And anything that is being organized.
We're hoping that once the up running of the the parish councils, sports councils, and is not only selecting parish teams as selected, they just also community organization at the same time. So they put it so the sports councils, parish councils have to also develop community organization. Not only, you know, in one area. It has to be so. Hopefully, once that is up and running, we might see things are happening. But right now, it's not. Um, we still don't know where we are at with the policy. You know, we still don't know when it's going to be rolling out. There's a lot of things that is still hold back, um, and it's time for us to, you know, put the pedal on and let's get going. It's like there's a brakes, and we hang on to the brakes, and we don't want to let loose on this bicycle run where we on. And it's time for us to let loose and just ride, because we are losing out. You know, in the hype of an Olympic Games, they should the parish council should have been rolling right now with sports where people could have started flowing into the sporting event. You know, with everything. You know, so certainly it may not be. Look at netball. It may not be 2028, but the next Olympics could have netball in it.
Yeah.
Which certainly I believe I've heard that an African nation would like to host the Olympics.
Well,
And if that's the case, those countries do have netball. They play netball heavily, netball,
Yeah.
and that could be something really big, right? So surely, you know, it will be a surprise. It's not even in this Olympic Games. Really shocking. But hopefully, I hope that, you know, it can certainly be something in the near future.
Yeah, certainly. All right, then. Well, let's see if we can make a wrap now. We have to head out within the next 2 minutes or so. But certainly, there's a lot for folks in Grenada to celebrate this weekend. If you have the opportunity to be part of it, please do support, be a part of history. You know, celebrate with our Olympians, but at the same time, remember to continue supporting sports, support our sportsmen and sportswomen. Julian, your last say?
Certainly, I totally agree with that. Let's continue on. You know, surely, you know, we just coming out from the hype of the fun of the carnival season. We could just float that right into, you know, our athletes who is returning back. Celebrate with them for the great achievement. Certainly, his history. You know, Kirani did history. Now we have history again. There is a fuss. You know, Kirani was the fuss. Now there's another fuss. You know, never happened before. Certainly, that's something to celebrate. Every other nation is doing it, where the people is behind the athletes. It's something that we could do and support the young athletes, and let us get sports running in the communities in Grenada. Let us build our sporting nation. Let us build our athletes. Let us keep them away from crime, away from drugs, away from, you know, those things, and just have them stay disciplined and stay focused. And certainly, thank you for always having me on, and for the listeners, surely, you know, we'll talk again. I do need to ask you a question. I will send you the message of here right after this. I need to find out. I need some information from something in Trinidad and something in Grenada. Hopefully, you can give me some information on that.
All right, certainly. Okay,
Yeah,
then.
all
Thank you very much, Julian. Yeah.
Have a good one. Thanks again.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, folks, once again, thank you very much for being part of our program. It's always a pleasure having you. The invitation is yours to join us next week, God willing, for another program in our series, Talk Sports, our Saturday Sports Special. Until then, by the way, before I tell you that, please go and support, if you're in Grenada, support our athletes. There's something today, and then there's the grand motorcade, welcome at the Morris Bishop International Airport. And then there's also the grand motorcade on Sunday. Thank you very much. All the best, and see you next week, God willing. Until then, do have yourself a pleasant week.